Hello everyone, this is Pilpoh and welcome to my Productive Bees guide for All the Mods 9. So, Productive Bees lets you automate bees, basically. So you can get yourself a load of honeycomb, a load of honey bottles. Plus, you can get other resources out of the honeycombs that you get later on. I'm going to start off by just giving a little bit of an example of where to start and how to start. So, first things first, if you are looking to find bees out in the wild, I'd highly recommend getting yourself a nest locator. So this thing's really simple to make, I'd say. You need a little bit of redstone for this, and a little bit of gold, a bit of iron. Job done, you've got yourself a nest locator. So, what this does is, if, for example, we're, I don't know, let's say we're over here, and you right-click it, it says that there is a nest, but it's 31 meters away. Meters is blocks, so 31 blocks away. And when you rotate, it will like highlight the area, so it's in this direction. So obviously we know where it is, so that's why it's pointing over here. The nice part about it is it doesn't get affected by the ones that you will make later on. So if you do want to go look for more and more nests, you can do that. If you're having real trouble with finding bees, you can in fact generate bees. So the way that you do that is you put down a bunch of like poppies or dandelions or flowers of any sort. And then you grow either oak or I think birch. I think birch has got a higher % chance that it will generate a bee nest with bees in it. Sometimes it's got bees, sometimes it doesn't. But all you have to do is you have to grow that tree with some poppies or dandelions around it, and then you've got a chance of getting a bee nest. That's actually a vanilla mechanic, which I didn't know until I started using bees for productive bees. So that just goes to show my vanilla knowledge. So once you've got yourself a bee nest like this, and there are some bees living in there, and they've been pollinating and popping in and out, you can see that it's starting to drip like this. That means that you can either use a bottle on it to get 1 bottle of honey, or you can use some shears on it to get up to 3 honeycomb. I think it's always 3 when the honey is up 5 like this. Now, Jade, which is the, what am I looking at the top there, says that this has got honey 5 out of 5. So this is the perfect time to harvest this. It's also got 3 bees in it right now, so that's even better. So this is the perfect time to harvest. Now, there are 3 bees in there, and the way that you can calm the bees, if you were to like shear it now, the bees would pop out and be angry at you because, well, you know, you just sheared their home. So the way that you can stop that is if you use a campfire. You put a campfire right underneath this. I'm just going to put it there. I know it looks a bit weird, but you can just do it like this. I'm going to shear it so we can get some more honeycomb. If we do that, the bees will not be angry. I am in creative mode, so they might not be angry anyway, but yeah. So that leads me on to my recommendations on how many of this honeycomb I recommend you get to begin with, right? So I recommend you get 6 honeycomb, so that's 2 scrapes with shears. You can see right now that there's 2 honey in there because there was 3 bees in there and 2 of them have popped out. Every time one of the bees pops out, it adds an extra honey to that honey level. So I suggest that you get 6 honeycomb, which is 2 of these shears on here. Oh, I'm going to remove this so they can pop back in if they want to. So 6 honeycomb and 1 bottle of honey. And the whole reason that I suggest you get 1 bottle of honey here is so you can make some of these bee cages. So a bee cage is super useful. You can use it like a Pokeball. So you can right click on a bee to move it. There are other bees around. I think there's a carpenter bee over here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. There's a yellow carpenter bee right there. So there's a bunch of other bees, but to begin with, you're going to want to like make sure that you've got regular vanilla bees that you're working on to begin with, because you need a lot of these honeycomb and a lot of this like honey bottles. So bee cages is what you need the honey bottle for, and the honeycomb, you need 6 of this. I'm just going to quickly grab 2 more. I actually have more in here, but we'll talk about this in a sec. You want to try and get yourself, first off, an expansion box. I'm using oak. You can use any variant. So expansion. There's a ton of different variants now. We have biomes of plenty in this this mod pack, all the mods 9. So as you can see right here, there's like a ton of different variants of the little hive things that we've got right here. So for that one, you are going to want to need. For that one, you are going to want to use 1 honeycomb and, you know, surround that by oak planks to get yourself an expansion box. I'll explain what this one does in a minute. The other 5, so if we do something like this right here, the other 5 are for this advanced oak beehive. So this is like the crux of the entire mod. It's so good. So if we have a look at this, the recipe looks a little bit complicated, but all it really is a beehive, which is why you need 3 honeycomb right there. 2 more honeycomb, which is where you get the 5 from. 3 from here, 2 from each side. A campfire, and just some regular shears. I know it shows you like a bunch of different types of shears right here. You can use copper shears. Interesting. I also know you can use silent gear shears, and silent gear shears are actually really, really easy to get. So I'd suggest looking into the silent gear ones. But that will make you a advanced oak beehive. Well, in my case, I'm using oak. So if I place that one down, you'll see right here, this has an interface, the beehive, which at first looks very, if not similar, then the exact same apparently. Oh, hello. This one doesn't have an interface whatsoever. I'm right clicking on it right now. I can't open it up. As soon as I click on this one, there you go, it's got an interface. So once you put an expansion box on top, like that, so it makes it like a two tool machine right there. This can have 5 bees in it at one time. So I'll just get rid of this because we've already got it set up over here. And the most important part is, I can take the honey that is produced from these 4 bees that I've got right here, and you don't need like the campfire, the smoker. Honestly, really useful, because this is super annoying having to do this, to only get 3, and then you have to break it afterwards, and then you have to make a new campfire. It's just a massive pain, right? So now that we've got this, a really, really cool thing is, if we get something like item pipe from the pipes mod, or you could use a hopper underneath, or you could use like anything that is like piping out. Let's get ourselves a quickie chest as well. If I were to put this here, you can see that it connects, and all I need is a pipe wrench, just like that. And the 1 honeycomb that we had in there is now over here. Now you can use like importers or import buses for refined storage and applied energistics respectively. So you could do that on all of these. You can use my favorite mod of all time, which is modular routers, to pull out of like a ton of these in one single block. Really, really useful. That way you can just stick that into a drawer or a whatever you've got, a decent system for storing stuff. So that's super, super useful, the fact that you can pipe in and out of this. So when I say you can pipe into this, let me just I'll put that back where it was with the chest next to it. If we do a pipe like that, you can pipe in there, but there's no reason to. It will just go into this slot right here. But you can also pipe in some bottles. So I'm going to get a stack of bottles, put that there. And as you can see, this one was dripping, like when this is full of honey right here, it like drips. this one was also dripping just now. And because we put a bottle in here, it produced a honey bottle, which you can also, if I do on this side, do one of these with the pipe wrench like that. You can see it pulls it out onto this side, so super nice. You can automate it just like this, and then put a load of bottles in here, and that way you've got loads of honey bottles and honey. Now you are going to need a load of honey bottles and honey because of the way that you generate a few. Oh, I need a crafting table. Because of the way you generate a few of the bees. So I'm going to quickly make this honey treat. Honey treats are added by productive bees. You can actually use this, I believe, to heal bees. So if they are like, I don't want to punch the bee, but yeah, if they are not at full health, you can right click them with honey treats to heal them up. Right, we're going to go find a nest, and by that I mean we'll probably get one in. So I'm going to use a stone nest. Now you can make this stone nest if you don't find them, because they should be out and about. Okay, well I think if we right click like that, there we go. So right clicking with the honey treat right here, and you can spam it if you're in creative, or if you have a ton of honey treats, which I suggest you try and like automate as soon as you can if you're going to use productive bees. If we right click that a ton of times, there we go, we got ourselves a digger bee. So if I grab myself some bee cages, this way we can pick up the bee like that. And now we've got the bee in this this bee cage. We can actually see the traits that this has got. So first off, it says type solitary. Solitary means it can't go in the advanced beehive that I showed you a minute ago. It has to go in one of these nests, which is fine. It also won't produce any honeycomb of any sort. But we can use this digger bee. So if I do digger bee, there we go, there's the digger bee. If we were to look at the uses of this, you can breed this digger bee with a chocolate mining bee, which is another one that you can spawn in, just like we just did there, because it's a solitary bee. We can use the digger bee and a chocolate mining bee to get a quarry bee, and then you can use the quarry bee to do a bunch of other stuff. So that is one way of getting bees. Obviously, if you were to hover over the stone nest and have a look at the usage, go to bee spawning. This one here tells us that there's only 2 bees that can be spawned from the stone nest, and that's the mason bee and the digger bee. If we have a look at nest, you can see that there's a ton of different nests. So if we have a look at the usages of the oak nest, you can see that there's only 2 that can be generated from this, the yellow carpenter and the green carpenter. And then you can look at this one and see that the yellow carpenter and the green carpenter breed together to get the lumber bee. Lumber bee, again, is quite a good bee that we'll talk about later on. So I would highly recommend going through JEI. I believe it's a prerequisite for actually using productive bees. So you will definitely need to have this installed, but definitely use JEI to have a look at what each of the nests give you. So if I have a look at the snow nest, you get the sweat bee right there. Not a sweet bee, that's definitely sweat. If you have a look at the gravel nest, for example, this one's got a few more. You can also get the digger bee from a gravel nest. Now, another thing is, if you look at the information from all of these, so all of these will have an information page, nests must be placed in a river or a beach biome to attract bees. So this one right here, the Stony Shore, I knew that this stone nest would work in the Stony Shore. If I was to pick it, or not pick it up, or just destroy it, if I was to do it over here, which got nothing to do with stone, this one over here, the Mediterranean forest, and I was to use a honey tree. Okay, that's weird. It looks like you can do it the stone nest in this biome over here. It must have a select amount of biomes. In fact, we could probably see that if we have a look right here. This nest will attract bees in overworld biomes. Okay, this one says it will attract them anywhere. Makes sense. It's the ones like the sand nest, for example. In desert biomes, that's the only place that this can actually... Yeah, there you go. There are a few, like, kind of interesting ones, like the bumblebee nest. You can find these, like, all over the place. In fact, it says in the plains biome. There you go. Bumblebees are quite interesting because you can saddle them and you can ride them about. But as I said, I'll come and talk about all of the different, like, really interesting bees later on in this video. Now, if you want to be super cruel about it, I'm coming back to the regular bees. What we can do is, if I put glass here, 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 and there, the only place that the bees can come out is where that little slot is, right there. So how many bees just came out there? Like 2 bees? This is all they need. They only need one block of grass with a flower on there. Some bees do require other things that aren't flower. So like a copper bee will require something to do with copper, like a copper block, or like a copper ore, for example. But in this case, another bee decided to get in there before this one could, because there was 6 bees flying about. So this one's kind of trapped until another bee pops out, and then it can pop back in. So there's six bees right now trying to get into these 5 slots. Interesting. Over here, by the way, we have got the honey bottles and the honeycomb coming through. Pretty useful. Anyway, this is kind of mean. I wouldn't suggest doing this. But I kind of do suggest doing this because it keeps your bees from flying off or flying into anything that you're trying to do around your base. Like you're trying to tidy up and you're punching leaves. Bee comes over and you accidentally punch your bees and then they're all mad at you. It's kind of annoying, right? So yeah, keep that in mind. So I am, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be the mean one and just cover this up. So for me personally, what I tend to do is if I really need a bee, let's say we really need diamonds, for example. So diamond bee. I will search for the diamond bee. I will hover over the diamond bee and just look at the use or the, hit R. So we can see how to make this, get the recipe for it. And you'll see here that there is an ender bee and a lapis bee. So I will bookmark both of those. So the ender bee, you can get that by using an endstone nest, using a pop chorus fruit on an endstone nest. So if we have a look at the endstone nest, it says, this nest attracts to native to the end, must be placed in the end to attract bees. So we do need to go to the end for the ender bee. The lapis bee is a blue banded bee and a redstone bee. So as you can see up here, if you press A on all of these bees, you can get them up in your bookmarks up here. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going through and I'm bookmarking all of the bees prerequisites for making diamond bees. So the blue banded bee, if we have a look at that one, this one's a solitary bee, so it will spawn out of a dark oak nest, cherry nest, and an acacia nest. Good to know. So we will need to go and make a few of those nests, use some of the honey treats. Redstone, it says here, is a glowing bee and a chocolate mining bee. So I will bookmark both of those two. So the chocolate mining bee, I just know for a fact, is a solitary bee. So we are going to have to go and make ourselves a chocolate mining bee. It's worth pointing out that you won't always get the bee that you're looking for. So the chocolate mining bee comes from a dirt nest, but if we have a look at the dirt nest, oh yeah, the dirt nest is the one that tells you what everything spawns from. So you do something like that and it's like, here's all of the things. But this one here, chocolate mining bee comes from the dirt nest. So does the leaf cutter and the ashy mining bee. So just keep an eye on that. So the chocolate mining bee, we will have to go generate that one. The glowing bee, again, we're going to have to generate that one. So we need a glowstone nest. You can make the glowstone nest. You use a wooden sword and a glowstone. Add a glowstone to it, like we were using the honey treats earlier on the stone nest. Use a glowstone on the glowstone nest. Take a couple of stacks if you've got it, and you'll get yourself a glowing bee. Now, I'm going to spawn a glowing bee and a chocolate mining bee in right now. It's quite important to just know that you can use a lead on bees like this. So the glowing bee right now, I put a lead on right there. And the chocolate mining bee, I put a lead on right there. So you can breed these two together. So if we get some poppies, I believe this is what they need to breed together. So if we have a look at the redstone bee, it does say what type of item they need for breeding. So in this case, it looks like any flower will do. You can even use saplings and stuff. So if we do one flower there, one flower there. There we go. Oh, we got a redstone bee straight away. That's actually quite good. I'm going to put a lead on this one as well. So now we've got the redstone bee. You can use the flower, the pollinating flower, or a flower to grow the bee up really quickly as well, just like we were spamming earlier. The honey treats, you can do it as well with, in this case, poppies to grow up the redstone bee. So that is a child bee right now, and now it's a fully grown redstone bee. Did I just pop this one? Okay, let's do that. There you go. He really doesn't want to go over there. Anyway, the redstone bee right now is fully available for us to pick up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up the redstone bee. We can see its stats. So it's got a productivity of high. That's pretty good. That's actually really good. There is a very high. I will talk about how to get that in a bit. I'm going to have a little section where I talk about how to get the best traits. There's 3 best traits that we want to look for. So yeah, I'll show you how to get those. Now, with this this redstone bee that we've got, I am going to just plonk it there. It's not going to actually go in though yet, is it? Come here. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to box it in again. But instead, right here, if we have a look at the redstone bee, the bee flowering is going to be redstone ore. I'm guessing just redstone itself. Redstone. What about a redstone block? Will that do it? Doesn't say it will. Okay, well, what will... Oh, redstone lamp, redstone block. There you go. So, redstone block. We will take one of these. We will put it right here. So, it has to be right in front of the hive, like this. Or, if we get a feeding slab... Now, the feeding slab's super easy. It's just a smooth stone slab above a chest. So, we get one of these. And we put this one down. It has to be... So, I see a lot of people do this. That's not how you do it, because you're actually blocking the bee from coming out. You want to do it literally below the beehive, like that. So as you can see, there's like a block there, and it's level with the block underneath the beehive. Okay. So this one here, the feeding slab, has like a bunch of slots. So we're going to put some redstone in there, or redstone block. And with this bee right here, I think if I do that, redstone bee is going to be like, oh, feeding. I'm going to have a little nom on this pollinating block that you've left for me right here. And because I shift right clicked, and I think this was the closest one, it should pop into this hive no matter what. Now, we could be mean. In fact, I'm going to be mean, because why not? I don't want him floating off. There we go. So now, the redstone bee should produce some redstone combs. There's only a 40% chance, as it says right there, so keep an eye on the JEI or whatever it is that gives this little tag right here. I also have tags on, so I think it's F3H. There you go, advanced tooltips are now hidden. So if I have a look here again, there you go. It just says a chance of 40%. Don't know why it's got percent twice. Okay. So when you've got the redstone combs, next thing we want to do is process redstone combs to get ourselves some redstone. I mean, technically we want to continue breeding this redstone bee, but one thing you can do is there is an upgrade called the baby upgrade, or how I say bah bee, because it's bah and then bee. So what this upgrade here does, I will go over all the upgrades later, I just wanted to point this one out real quick, is the baby upgrade, when installed into a hive, gives a 5% chance for a new baby to be born from the hive every time honey is delivered. So again, we've only got a 40% chance. Actually, we got a 5% chance after a 40% chance for a bee to actually pop out of this. So if this bee pops out and doesn't give us a comb, then that means that there's a 0% chance that we'll get another bee. But if it pops out and gives us a comb, there's a chance we could get a little baby redstone bee. Now, it's important to have a look at certain bees. So I will quickly look at the starry bee, which is the hardest bee to get in this pack. This is how you make it. You need ATM star blocks. But you'll see here, this species of bees can't breed amongst themselves. So it will tell you if the baby upgrade will work or not, because of well, that text that we just saw right there in the information page. Sometimes they've got other text, so like I know for a fact that the redstone bee says escape artist, but a few of these might have can't breed amongst themselves. This one doesn't even have information, doesn't need it apparently. But yeah, what we would then do is go, okay, we need the blue banded bee. We will go and make some dark oak nests or go find some of these. What I do suggest you do is make a ton of these bee cages and then go exploring and go find some bee cages out and about. Always have some on you. That's a tip I've got for you there, because if you're out and about and you see a bee and you're like, oh, I could have really done with that bee over at my base. If you've got like a ton of bee cages on you in your backpack or wherever, you can just whip them out, run over to a bee and be like, right, got ya. So I've got myself a bee cage again. I'm going to pick up my chocolate mining bee and my glowing bee, and I'm going to quickly show you the other method of breeding these two together, something that's a little quicker. So what you want to get is a breeding chamber, one of these. They do require power, so I'm going to put a creative power cell down for now. There you go, just like that. So this has got power in it, and what we can do is put these two bee cages in, and it will tell us that this will make us a redstone bee. So we can put another bee cage right there. Now, if I get a poppy, put the poppy in, get another poppy and put a poppy in this side, you can see the two poppies have gone away, and it's very slow, but there is a progress bar that goes along like this. Now you can use some upgrades for this. So there's the speed upgrades, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That would drastically decrease the amount of time that it takes for a bee to produce right here. It's worth pointing out that this does produce child bees, so you do need to grow the bees up afterwards. Now, why is this important? So the reason this is important is because you can automate this. Again, you can pipe in and out of the sides of this, or the bottom or the top or wherever. And these aren't sided. None of these machines are sided, I don't believe. So you can push into this some flowers and it will go into these two slots. And you can also put in bee cages, forgot about that. And you can also pull out of this on any side, and it will only pull out the redstone bee in this case. And I'm going to do something like that. And then I'm going to get some poppies. I'm going to get 3 stacks of poppies, just so you can see. There you go. So that is now pulling in, using the pipe. It's pulling in from this side. What I can do as well is have another another one right there. And that's going to start putting into that one. It's not what I want. Let's make that a pull. There we go. And we can get ourselves some more cages. So I'm going to get 2 stacks of cages, just like that. There are quests, that reminded me, there's loads of quests for this as well in All the Mods 9. So we've slowly been getting through all of these quests right here. You can see there's lots of different quests down here, and these all are different bees. And this is the main one right here. You can actually get all the Modium, Vibranium, and Unobtainium bees. So keep an eye out for those. Anyway, you can see right here that I'm pulling out some of these bee cages. Make sure that you have this being pulled out. I'm going to just use a regular chest, not a drawer for this. Yeah, there we go. And what that will do is, when this is done, just like that, it would have put the redstone bee in here right there. If you leave this, it won't stack them up. Even if they can be stacked up, it won't stack them up. Like this one here can't be stacked with this one here. For some reason, this one got medium, this one got high in productivity. So they are technically different. If they are the exact same, I think they do stack in the bee cages. So this breeding chamber can be like super powerful later on. You can set up a thing to like breed you a ton of redstone bees, for example, if you are going to try and make a load of redstone. So that is the breeder. The combs that you get from these, this one still hasn't produced any combs. Interesting. Okay. What we will do is we'll introduce 3 new redstone bees to this. We can do that by doing that, that, and that. These should eventually decide, oh, there's some redstone, and try and go in there. Okay, I'll get rid of that. There we go. Did all of the bees go in there? I did not see. I'm assuming. Right, let's do that. So those bees there should pop into here. Perfect, that's what they're doing. I don't know why I did that. I'm in creative, so I cheated myself some redstone combs in. So now you've got these redstone combs. Let's process these. So to do that, we are going to need either a centrifuge or a basin and a mechanical mixer from Create. Now, I think it's probably better. I think it is actually better to use the centrifuge from what I've seen. This one is a 40% chance to get 2 redstone dust. This one is a 50% chance to get 1 or 2 redstone dust. So I'm not sure, but we're going to use the centrifuge because we can. So I'm going to start off with the regular centrifuge, and then I'll talk about the powered and then the heated later on. So let's get a regular centrifuge. This one is usually just upgraded like as soon as possible to the powered centrifuge. Although you can see right here that it's actually not that bad when it comes to how quick it is. But what we will do is we will get ourselves a powered centrifuge and a heated centrifuge. I'll put them side by side here. So this one here, and I'll get a heated as well. So this one here, if I put that in, put that one in, put that one in. You see this one's super quick. This one's still not done, and it's just finished. This one's still going. Now, let's try that again with speed upgrades. Cool. Okay, all of these have now got speed upgrades in there. So what I'll do is I will put 20 in each. So I'll put 20 in this one, 20 in this one, and 20 in this one. This one's super quick. This one is less quick, but still pretty quick. And then this one here is actually still kind of quick, but not as quick as the rest of them. So both of these two are done, as you can see. They're completed. This one's still going. It's not even, wow, it's just past the halfway mark. So the powered centrifuge, I do have some redstone comb blocks, which are, you just put, 4 together to get a block. You can see right here, you can't use these to produce anything in the powered centrifuge. However, in the heated centrifuge, you can use them, and it's just as quick, and I think you get 4 times the output. So that's why this one's producing quite a lot. I'll quickly just show you the recipes for these. So that is some iron and a grindstone for the regular centrifuge. The powered centrifuge in this version, at least, they might change this depending on what version of the pack you are playing, or what version of what mod pack you're playing. In this case, this is mechanism basic control circuits. And then finally, we've got heated centrifuge, which requires some of these inactive dragon eggs. These block upgrades and the powered centrifuge block of copper. The inactive dragon eggs, you can see, are made just like this with some draconic chunks. Now this is where you proper get into bees right here, in my opinion. For draconic chunks, you need draconic dust, which you get from draconic combs, which you get from draconic bees. Now, the draconic bees come from obsidian nests. You have to use some dragon's breath on them to get draconic bees. You can also just find them floating around in the end, so you might be lucky and be able to pick them up. So, whilst I'm on the subject of like machines, like we just went over the breeder, we went over the centrifuges, I'll quickly cover a few other things. So we've got the baby incubator. So if I were to stick this down like right here, this needs power. What you do is you feed. So if we were to grab one of these, this one is a child bee. Stick that in there and you give it loads of honey treats and some power. So I'll tell you what, we can do that. And what I'm going to do is just nick these speed upgrades and get myself honey treats. Just like that. Now what this will do is it will use 20 honey treats to grow the child bee that we've got here into an adult bee. Now, obviously, child bees can't breed with other bees, so you need to grow them up if you do need to like breed them. So in this case, this redstone bee, if we were planning on using this one because it has the best stats, even though it doesn't, but if it does have the best stats, then I would suggest using some honey treats and a baby incubator to grow it up as soon as you can. And then there you go, we've got an adult right there. Next up, we've got the catcher. So if I put a catcher down, I can put the catcher down right here. This catcher, if you give it some bee cages, just like this, you can give it some range upgrades. So range upgrades, these things here, gives a machine more breathing space by increasing the operation area. Multiple upgrades can be installed for a greater range increase. So what the catcher does is if you've got some bee cages in it, if a bee were to fly over this, it would use one of the bee cages on that bee and put it in the inventory right here. There's a few upgrades you can use. So obviously there's the range upgrade. So right now, because it's got no range upgrades, it would only be when they're in this block right here that the bee cage is used on the bee. But if we put a range upgrade in there, I think it goes out by 1. And then if you put another one in, it's out by 2. Which means it would cover like this entire area right here. So if a bee was flying around, it would get caught in that like capture field. And it would be caught by one of these bee cages. Another thing is if we have a look at the productive bee upgrades, there's the baby upgrades that we talked about earlier that would produce another redstone bee over there. You can also use it in this catcher. When installed in a catcher, only the baby bees will be caught. So if, for example, you've got bees popping in and out of some hives, and there is a baby bee that gets created from the bath bee upgrade, what you can do is have one of these catchers just capture just the baby bees, because you don't want the adult bees to be captured, because you want them to produce more baby bees. So that is one use of this upgrade right here, the baby upgrade. The other one is if you want your babies, as in your baby bees, if you want them to continue flying around and eventually mature, then you can use one of these right here, which will only catch adult bees, one of the not bee upgrades. Sorry, baby upgrades. It really annoys people when I say bee. So there we go. I put a range upgrade. I put both of them in. I don't know what that would do, if I'm honest. Maybe it'll catch both bees, or it won't catch any bees. Right, I'm going to call the guide here, I think. I'll have a part 2 to this guide to go over the gene indexer and all of the different genes that you can get, how to get the best genes. I'll also talk about the bottler and how you can use it to get loads of really good genes, including the genes which you can then use to make some spawn eggs, which are needed for a bunch of different recipes to make more bees and stuff. I'll also go over all the upgrades. I'm not sure I covered that yet, and I will probably talk about some of the bees that aren't worth it and some of the bees that are 100% worth it. So yeah, that's where I'm going to call it for today. This is where the episode would end. This is where I plug my Discord and my Patreon. So my Discord is there for anyone to join, and you're very welcome to chat with everybody in there, ask questions. Everyone is super helpful. And my Patreon, I've also linked in the video description. It allows you to get on the server that I have been doing my ATM9 playthrough on. So if you are interested in that, if you wanted to pop along, then yeah, have a look at the Patreon that we've got right there. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end it. So thank you for watching. Thanks for joining. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.